Hello fellow modelers, it's Bruce here. Thought it was time for an update on the benchwork for the double deck layout that I'm building. To follow up to a previous video that I will link in the description. You can see here that it's still a work in progress, but I managed to get the 16 inches between the upper deck and the lower deck that I mentioned in the first video. And as I described in that video, I was making these L-shaped shelves here that the Luan plywood would fit on. You can see here I'm raising up a piece of plywood that I have cut the shape and it just fits right in there, and then foam on top of that. And yeah, so far so good. Quite sturdy. Show you that again, I think, when I put this camera onto a tripod. But it fits right where I wanted it to. Left access to those doors going back to the storage area. And I'm in the process of still cutting some Luan. I got 2 more full sheets. I got a few more pieces to cut. Everything stayed about the same as, again, I previously described. What I did decide to do was take one small section of the lower shelf and reinforce under it pretty good and put plywood down instead of the foam. And that's so that I can get in there and lean and put all my weight on my elbows and so forth to reach an area that would be kind of difficult to reach, kind of back where I'm pointing. So once this is all plywood, I'll be able to, during construction especially, lean in there. There's the 2 shelves going back toward the downstairs toilet. The upper shelves have a couple of metal aluminum L brackets besides being lagged to the wall. And as I described, on the bottom there's those 45-degree wood supports. Again, very, very sturdy. On the top shelf, which again is going to be the HON3 slate run railroad, which will be logging and mining primarily. This very end of the top shelf will be an engine servicing area. These are not in their permanent position, but just to kind of give you an idea. So this engine house is a fine scale miniature kit that I made a few modifications to. Scratch built those front doors and used replacement windows and different shingles. The water tank is scratch built. I did one of my videos, it's actually several parts of the video on that. The coaling station is once again a fine scale miniature, one of their vintage old kits, and the sanding facility is from, again, a very old kit from Campbell. On the bottom shelf back in here at the very end will probably be my Bangor Slate Company, and the bottom shelf is devoted to the Jersey Highlands Railroad. And yeah, that's pretty much the update. You know, there's always compromises when I just want to again just show you how sturdy this is. I'm trying to shake it, it's just not moving. I always have compromises when you build a double deck layout, and one of them clearly is how much clearance you can get. I would have preferred 18 or 20 inches, but then you either have to have the bottom shelf uncomfortably low or the upper shelf uncomfortably high. This is a compromise, and I think it'll work out fine. One thing I do want to say, my plan on the upper deck, if you look at the center section right here, This is going to be a view block mountain, so that if you're over on this side and you're looking across, the mountain will block the view for what comes beyond it, and the same thing is true over here. I will be able to put the luan in, and then comes the layers of foam. I'll build the mountain on top of the foam back on my bench, and then I can just bring it in here and drop it into place. And that'll probably be one of the first things that I do once the construction is done. That basically makes then the top layer almost like a shelf layout, where you have a 2-foot wide section here coming around, then you have this section here on the end, and then going back and all the way over to where the engine facility is. On the lower level, I will not put a central view block, but the center area will be mostly structures and the track work around the periphery where I can reach things in case of a derailment. So yeah, that's kind of where we are right now. I have another day of ripping some wood out in the garage for both luan and that plywood over there, and the rest of it is just foam, which I can cut in the house with a box cutter. So I want to get the outside cutting done because it'll soon be getting cold. I haven't had that half of the garage occupied by a car in a couple of weeks, and I want to get back to being able to pull my car in. The next few items to do will be to paint any wood that will be exposed. For instance, you got these legs here that are raw wood. That one leg I've painted. Almost all the rest of the wood will be covered, so I don't have to paint much beyond those legs, but I probably will cover this facing board because from time to time I'll be removing the fascia. So that's one thing to do, painting. I hope to get to that this weekend. Then I have to buy, I guess, about 3 sheets of masonite, which I will use for backdrop. The backdrop will only really be along this wall, both levels. It'll be a sky type of backdrop. And again, as I said, made out of masonite. And then the fascia board, which will be on both layers from the highest level of wherever the foam is to probably about 2 inches below. That'll be masonite as well. So yeah, painting, mounting the backdrop, and then mounting lighting under the top deck, which will light the bottom deck all around. So those 3 things, and then really I'll be ready to start laying track and doing some scenery work. So you'll get another update probably once the backdrop is up, and then updates will come as I progress with the actual laying of the track and so forth. So that's it for now. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. And you can check out that first video I did on this lightweight benchwork to see how I approached making it. That's all for now. Talk to you soon.